And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Tuesday, September 28th. Yields rise, sending fear into the stock market. Dow's down over 400. Nasdaq loses more than 2%, almost 2.7, I think was the low I saw. 2.7% down in the Nasdaq. Big movers to the downside. Fears kind of going on around. You've got yields concern. You've got gas shortages in the UK. We're seeing some concerns there. You've got the continuing of the blackouts in China, shutting down factories, Apple, Tesla being a couple of those. You got concerns about potential corporate taxes getting pushed up on Capitol Hill. And you've got the Senate hearing of the Afghan pullout that, we know that there was a lot going on with that. We'll leave it at that. If you have questions, you can look into that. So lots going on, a lot of concern out there right now. People just kind of taking off some positions, sitting back, waiting to see what happens, what comes out of all this stuff. Taxes are going to be kind of looming here as we get towards the end of the year. We've also got concerns with natural gas continuing higher. I think Nasdaq right now 2.8% worst day since March as these yields spike. It hits the tech stocks hard, and Dow was down 570. There we go, getting the official numbers here. Natural gas, sorry, it's interesting. I sat down today and I was curious. I was thinking about it. I'm looking at my gas bill from last winter. It was cold. It gets pretty cold here in the Midwest. We get some chilly winters, to say the least. And I jokingly told my friends, I'm going to move on to one floor of my house. I got to live on one floor, keep that one heated, relatively cold, get some space heaters, and try and minimize my use of gas. As we all know, that's going to be a little bit of our concern as winter approaches and we start firing up those furnaces and getting the heat going. So lots going on there. We got the stock market really is the talk of the town. You got Nasdaq, like we said, way down over there. S&Ps are down. You've got the Dow is down. Everything pretty much across the board, and all the products that we look at, everything was down today. So hope you guys just sold it off the open and took the wins there. No, not really. That's not the approach we want to take. We want to look for opportunity. Crude oil opens up this morning pretty much right above settlement price, works below settlement price, rotates lower down to yesterday's value area, below yesterday's value area, down to a little bit of consolidation from the prior night's low. S&P 500 opens up lower, makes no attempt to go higher. Market opens up and just continues to sell off. We opened up right around 4,400, sold off about 60 handles down to 4,340. We caught a little bounce there, so some opportunity there. Nasdaq, though, Nasdaq really wanted to pay attention to. Opens up this morning, saw a little bit of attempt to press higher. Did not attract buyers. It lasted for about a minute and a half off the open and rotates lower. That market sells off pretty strong from 15,000 down to where we're trading right now, down 220 handles, give or take there. Gold opens up this morning, kind of on the lows, gets a little pop, gets really, really choppy, kind of all over the place, no definition there. Ending the day working lower. Euro inside last night's range, trades it really nicely, opens up this morning, makes the move to settlement price, breaks off a settlement price, and the 10-year note opens up on our lows there, checks those overnight lows, and rallies just a little bit. Strong push, made the attempt, but what do we got going on? Yields are moving higher. That should send treasuries lower, and that's what we're seeing. Treasuries continue to mark lower day after day here. So lots going on, lots to pay attention to. Hopefully you guys found some opportunity. Also, they're Epic, there you go. We got some news coming out here with Top Step. If you've gotten your email and you've seen it. We'll be talking about the updates and some of the changes that are going on. Pretty exciting stuff. We're moving a couple of the rules for you guys and making some little adjustments there. Remember, that's what we'll be talking about on Thursday when Michael and I sit down, Q&A style. So make sure you guys come join us. We'll be touching on that. We've kind of made some tweaks. Really excited about it. Hopefully that benefits everyone. Frederico, Charles, PK, Bill, good to see you. George, Spencer, Felix, good to see you there. Epic, glad you made it so we can get the ball rolling here. And Vince, good to see you as well. Hope you guys joined us here today on the Coach's Playbook. Pretty interesting, fun topic for me. One of my big themes has always been focusing on the process, not the profits, right? We all get into this, and the profits and the money and the green dollar signs are really everything we're thinking about. Because why else would we do this, right? I mean, I get it. There's a passion and there's the excitement about learning markets and being involved. But I don't know. I'll be realistic with you. I trade because I like the money. I love markets. I love being involved in them. But I also love the reward that we get when we are right and how we manage this. And really, it all comes down to, how do I maximize my profits? Well, I focus on my process. I focus on my consistency and my approach. You know, like Hogue always says, you can only be consistent in your profits if you bring consistency to the marketplace itself. So you got to be consistent in everything you do, from your opening moves and how you're approaching your day and how you're getting up and the routine in the morning. I think we've all kind of talked about it a little bit. You know, this idea of routine and how important it is. And I'll tell you, it's even comical. I'm so routine in my mornings that, like, my dog is out of whack when Saturdays and Sunday come around, and I actually stay in bed past 6 o'clock. He gets confused. He's used to me leaving the house at about 5:30 to go to the gym. I come back. He and I go for a nice walk. He gets to go outside, enjoy the day, gets to sleep in a little bit without me, takes up the whole king-size bed. And when the weekends roll around and we adjust our routine, he doesn't know the difference between a Wednesday and a Saturday, and we adjust. And I'm in his way at 6:30 in the morning. He gets confused, right? Routine is important for everyone. And if we can create that routine and the consistency in our processes every day, we're going to be able to bring that consistency into the marketplace and how we're preparing, so long as we're executing consistently. Even if we're wrong, we're still learning things. We're taking stuff away from what we're learning. We do that review. We start to recognize, here's where I'm going wrong. Here's why my trades are no longer successful. What can I do to adjust? It could be something as simple as we're keeping our stops too tight, or our profits are too far out, or, you know what, I've been looking at this market all wrong. I'm finding trend and I'm looking for it to go range, or I'm not defining market state when I sit down in the morning, and that's really going to be important. Really, we see it today. You've got Nasdaq opens up with trending lower. We've been doing this trend lower now for the last 48 hours. Market's moving lower. We open up this morning, and if your initial instinct is look to see this market rotate inside and get range bound, that might lead to some difficulty, right? Because we're maintaining trend. We got to recognize that. And really, we get a nice little pop off the open that pulls back, gives us a chance to find a little bit of strength in a downtrend, and you could have sat in that short all stinking day long and just watch that P&L rise and rise and rise and making money hand over fist. So a lot of opportunity. I'm going to show you some of the stuff here as we get going. So I digress. I get on a little tangent every so often. It really is here to try and help you guys out. So I take a look at these charts and see what we got going on today. As always, we're going to start with our crude oil market. We finally get a little bit of a relief. Crude oil settles at $75.45 yesterday. 75.45, right up here. Where's our settlement price? In the overnight session, this market continued to press higher. And here's where we got to start to recognize. All night, we really struggled. We made the high up at 76.67. There we go, 76.67. Market opens up and tries. It really tries to push higher. But really quickly, it recognizes it's not going to attract any buyers. Market starts to rotate lower. As soon as we start to rotate this market lower, what do we have down here as a beautiful visual down at 75.30? Let's just call it 75.40 right here. Yesterday's unchecked point of control. So we start to recognize this market rotating lower. We got a full dollar move down to yesterday's point of control. Market moves right through that point of control, which happens to be 5 cents below settlement price. So we've got multiple targets down below to see if we can get this thing to move lower. Market continues lower, and we finally start to stall out. Now, remember, this market's going to slow down tomorrow. We've got EAA. We had APIs this afternoon. I haven't seen those numbers coming out yet. We'll make sure John will touch on those, I'm sure, tomorrow morning. But then we got EIA tomorrow. So to me, the opportunity rate in this market off the open, we start to recognize market's rotating, right? We are stronger volume on the downside move. Market's rotating lower. That's telling us we have a change in market state. What we want to pay attention to is recognizing when this market's starting to get flat. We do know we get some good participation during the London session, starting around 1 a.m. Central Time. From there, this market has started to make lower highs. We get a high, a little bit lower, lower again, and this market's starting to rotate lower. So that's really where I'm looking for an opportunity right off the open to see if I can get this market to rotate lower, recognizing, okay, now we're starting to see a bottom forming. We're building a little bit of a shelf. We're bringing in some volume, bringing in some participation. We should start to maybe see this market start to rotate back inside. Rotates back inside really nicely right up to, once again, point of control and just shy of settlement price from yesterday. Next, let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500. I know that's the one we want to talk about. We want to look at these equities. We want to see what is going on. Where's the opportunity? Well, here we go. This market opens up this morning, makes no attempt in the S&Ps to go higher. We check right at our 20-period EMA. How many times have we seen opportunity up at our 20-period EMA? How often do we talk about this? As soon as the market starts to rotate lower, if we start to approach and pull back towards that EMA, that's a good chance to start looking for an opportunity. Market opens up right at it, pushes right to it. And to me, great opportunity. We're seeing a little bit of strength in a downtrending market. When we start to recognize strength, that's where we want to look for a short. We're not looking to say, hey, market's going to rotate back inside. We'll see this thing move right back to settlement price up at 44.33. That's not our expectation when we're opening up 30 handles away. That's a strong move, and that's something you got to start to recognize when you are trading this. As soon as we see rejection up at this 20-period EMA, our job is to take the short and see if we can continue this market lower. Well, market continues lower all day long and really gives us a nice chance. It's starting to say, you can see it right here, we're weakening. We're losing volume as we're moving lower. Right? What's happening? Basics of volume. As volume starts to lighten up, look for market to work sideways or change directions. You can call it changing of directions here. I'm calling this a pullback in the big move we had today. This is strictly, we're staying within range. This is a little bit of a pullback. We're range bound now as we started to lose some volume. And you saw some profit taking here towards the end of the day. All right, now the big mover over here, down 2.8%, the Nasdaq, same principle this morning. We got a pop. And I was watching this market really closely on the open. In the first 90 seconds, this market pops right to our moving averages. And it was apparent just watching this market, it wasn't going to hold. It was a quick check up at the moving averages. That's where the short was. Pretty obvious in my opinion. We came and checked a swing high from the overnight session as well. Boom. There's our chance to get in on this trend and sit on this move all the way to the downside, recognizing we're not seeing strong pullbacks in this. Market's moving really well, and I really love the short here. I was able to get in pretty close to our open, take that short, and I sat on it for quite some time today. Really good opportunity there. All right, next. Go ahead and look at the gold market. Like we said, gold pretty volatile off the open. I'm sorry, I'm really struggling to trade a market that's moving this fast in this short period of this time frame. This short market opens up though, rotates to overnight consolidation. We move right up to overnight consolidation, then we start to see rejection, forming a wedge pattern. We're breaking out to the downside at the end of the day. Really, to me, this is a difficult trade. There's not a whole lot to point at. There's not a whole lot to take away from this. This is something the only way to really trade this is really have a defined system looking at price action and order flow. We'll leave it at that. Next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Euro, this is what I liked about euro. Euro defines a nice little range in the overnight session. This is what we like to see. We open up kind of on the high side of that overnight range, right where we had swing lows from the prior night. Okay, I like this. Market opens up right at it. We can say, I got two opportunities here. I can rotate this market higher, bring it back up to value area from yesterday, maybe looking towards overnight swing high, possibly point of control from yesterday. Or I've got an opportunity to take the short here, seeing that we're at a level that has once support, became resistance in the overnight session. Maybe we'll see some resistance off the open. Market rotates lower. We come and check overnight lows before we start to rally right back up to yesterday's point of control. So great two-way trade here. We catch the short off the open. We rotate to overnight lows. Market rejects overnight lows. Boom. Opportunity. We're range bound. We're looking for this thing to stay inside. Where can we rotate this thing higher? We can rotate it right back up to opening range, or we can start to look and see if we get acceptance up above that level of resistance that we saw off the open right here at 117.03. See if we can get this market to rotate right to point of control from yesterday. Does to the tick and breaks right off of point of control. Now it's going to be hard to get that short here. We know how fast that market was moving when it approached and broke pretty quickly. But that's where you start to recognize as soon as you see that market check, if you caught the long on the low side, you see that market check that point of control, you got to be quick to get out. Recognizing quickly that this is not going to hold up above. Market wants to rotate back inside. We're not looking for this market to get hugely directional. It's defined a nice range for us. We accept our range and we get out of the trade. All right, lastly, let's go ahead and look at the 10-year note. We'll get on out of here. 10-year note opens up this morning. We see a little bit of life. Treasury yields start to pop, sending this market back lower. That's really where we got to pay attention to, keeping an eye on yields. Market tried to accept into yesterday's regular trading hour range, rejects. We saw it right here. Last night we had a little bit of support before this market finally broke through, which became resistance today. Good target if you caught the short on the low side off of overnight lows. Good target to see if you can get this to run up to prior support. What was once support becomes resistance over here. Market rejects it, and now we're going to end the day towards our lows. All right, so those are our markets here today. See here. And I'm good to see you. Yeah, definitely give that Coach's Playbook a listen. It was a lot of fun. Do you think there was a delta divergence leading into that pop on ES at around 11 o'clock? To be completely honest with you, Anthony, I do not know. I'm not too closely watching delta divergences. That's not really in my my wheelhouse too often. I look at delta a little bit differently. So intraday stuff, I'm not paying really close attention to that. That'd be a great question to ask John tomorrow. I know delta is one of the things John's watching a lot closer than I am. And I'm Dan, just in the short all day. Not all day, but for a good while, about 2 hours, sat in that thing. Pretty good trade there. Really exciting to catch those moves. Nice part about a move like that, you don't have to be leveraged out. You can manage your risk in a trade like that. And you can see great rewards. It is only Tuesday still. We got a long week ahead of us. All right. What else we got going on? Why don't we talk Bitcoin? Bitcoin. Where's my Bitcoin chart? Here we go. Bitcoin, another down day over here in Bitcoin, right around $42,000 trading right now, down about $1,000 from settlement price. So we're seeing that down 2.7%. Now, let's take a look at some of the stocks we got going on. We love our Airbnb. Airbnb, a little bit of sell-off today, down a few dollars, $168.58. But now let's look at these meme stocks. GameStop, another down day, $178. Now remember, when we were up by $200, we were saying if you've got this and you've got that nice long in it, not a bad place to lock in some profits. Hopefully you locked in something up above. As we see this thing continue to sell off here, AMC down day as well, $36.99 over the last 6 months. This has been a volatile stock, peaking up above $60, rotating back lower now, $36.99 a share. Tesla, though, what a strong stock. Down a little bit today, down a little bit under 2%, $777.56. Gosh, this is a fun one to watch. Just so volatile. And Robinhood, pretty much scratch on the day, $44.62, a whole 14 cents off where yesterday's closed. All right. And lastly, no shocker here. Stock market's down. VIX is up. VIX spikes up to 25. We see a little break towards the end of the day, but we're going to end our day here. 2302 on the VIX, up 22.7%. Big mover there. Let's see how long we hold up above 20. Remember, we've been kind of watching 20 as that benchmark, and for a while we were starting to trade under. We're down to 14, 13. We saw last week we started to see the pops. Today, 25. just shy of 25. So VIX is moving strongly. Now, it is Tuesday. You had Jerome Powell speaking this morning. You got a lot going on in Congress, so just pay attention to that stuff up on Capitol Hill, everything happening there. You got now tomorrow, pending home sales, 9 a.m. Central Time, and EIA petroleum status report, that crude number, coming out at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. So if you're a crude oil trader, sit on your hands for the first hour and a half or so. Let that number come out. Let it start to process the information. You don't want to jump in, 62 seconds after the number comes out. Let it start to process, and then start to trade the reaction to the emotion. And then towards the end of the week, GDP, jobless claims, personal income out on Thursday, personal income and outlays on Friday, as well as ISM manufacturing, and consumer sentiment as well. So lots coming out throughout the rest of the week. Let's continue to pay attention and see if we can find some opportunity there. All right. Last but not least, estate and history, and I'll get on out of here. First and foremost, 1920. It's kind of ironic. Just a few days ago, the Chicago White Sox clinched, headed into the playoffs. Kind of like maybe it'll be a repeat of 2004. My family are a bunch of Southsiders. We are Chicago Sox fans, so pulling for them. But back in 1928, players were indicted in the Black Sox scandal after they bet against themselves and threw a game in World Series of 1919. Next, I think I had one more. Yeah, 1928. This was a big advancement in science and the medical field. 1928, penicillin is discovered. So that's what I got for us there today. I hope you guys all had a great day. I hope you found some opportunity. And if you didn't, don't worry. We got a long week ahead of us. If you've been struggling this week, take some time off. I don't know where you're at, but we're getting gorgeous weather here. It was 85 degrees yesterday. It's going to be 80s throughout the rest of the week. Today's our cool day at like high 70s. I know I'm going to go from here, get the dog out, and maybe go for a little afternoon boat ride. So if you're able to get out of the house and enjoy some of the weather before it's gone, get out there and enjoy it. So thanks for joining me. John will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.